Welcome back to the Takeout. Thanks for hanging out with us. The last time a Democrat won a United States Senate election in Texas was 1988, and the winner was Lloyd Bentsen. He did not become vice president because he was Michael Dukakis' running mate then, but he became senator again. It feels like every political cycle since then, people talk about Democrats winning a U.S. Senate race there. But it doesn't seem to happen. Candidates with national profiles have come and gone. Colin Allred, Beto O'Rourke, came close, but did not prevail, even when it appeared Democrats in Texas had some kind of momentum. Along comes Presbyterian seminarian and Democratic State Representative James Talarico. He thinks he has what it takes, and today jumped into the race against Republican Senator John Cornyn. Representative Talarico, I'm glad to have you on the program. Forgive me, you will regard me probably as a jaded Washington journalist who has grown tired of the old saw from Democrats in Texas. Okay, Major, this is the year we're all going to turn it around. This is the year we're going to win statewide. And I don't see it. So tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, it's a little bit of a leap of faith. I firmly believe that all 30 million Texans deserve a senator who's going to represent their interests in the halls of our nation's capital, not the interests of their billionaire mega donors. I've been fighting this corrupt, broken political system at the state level at our state capitol for 4 terms, and I'm now ready to take that fight against corruption to our nation's capital, where I think it is needed now more than ever.
Well, when a majority of Texans vote for the government they have in Texas, what makes it broken and corrupt?
I think all voters, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, would agree that this political system is corrupt. And the reason I say that is because when a party gets in power and passes a big, beautiful bill that kicks millions of Texans off their health care, takes food out of the mouths of hungry Texas kids, all to fund tax breaks for billionaires who contribute to the campaigns of the politicians, that to me is the highest form of corruption. We often think of corruption as something that's illegal or something that just involves money or bribes. That certainly is true. It's certainly true in the case of Ken Paxton, who's also running for this seat. But corruption is really just the betrayal of the public's trust. It's the abuse of a public office. And that's what I think is happening at every level of our government. And I don't mean to cast aspersions on any one person. It really is a system that allows for too much big money influence. It's a system that allows politicians to pick their voters through things like gerrymandering. These are systemic problems that we have to address if we hope to make progress on all the issues we care about.
Representative Talarico, will you bar any billionaire from donating to your campaign directly or indirectly? And will you cap, that is to say, set a limit on the dollar amount you'll accept? Directly or indirectly?
Thankfully, now that I'm running for a federal office, there are campaign contribution
yes, I know,
limits.
but there are lots of different ways to get around that. You know that.
Yes, and you know, in Texas, in state races, which is what I've done before, there are no campaign contribution limits. In fact, I, as a state lawmaker, put forward a bill that would have put in place limits on those contributions like there are at the federal level. So this is already an improvement over what we have at the state level in Texas. But like you said, there are way too many ways around it. I have put in place a ban on corporate PAC donations to my campaign for U.S. Senate. It's a policy I had in my office as a state lawmaker. I'm the only member of the Texas legislature who hasn't taken a dime of corporate PAC money. In fact, I had to send back checks that I received from Walmart and Chevron and AT&T because I have this self-imposed ban. So I'm going to continue that in this U.S. Senate race. Not that I believe I should unilaterally disarm. I don't believe in that. But I do think there are ways that we can all take some steps to limit the influence of big money in our own campaigns.
If you are elected, you would hope to be a member, and you've said this, of a Democratic majority in the United States Senate. If that were true, who should be the majority leader?
I don't know. I as a state lawmaker, whenever someone wanted to run for a leadership position, I sat down with them and asked them a lot of hard questions about how they wanted to use that leadership position. I asked them about their vision and their values and their strategy. I obviously haven't sat down with anybody who's in a leadership position in the U.S. Senate or wants to be in the future. But if I'm fortunate enough to be elected to this position, I will have that same approach. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to listen, I'm going to ask questions, and then I'll make a decision based on those conversations.
Chuck Schumer would not, in your mind, be the heir apparent.
No, I would hope that whoever's running has a fair and open hearing. They'll certainly get that from me. I'm not going to give deference to someone just because they have the position. If that were true, I wouldn't be running against John Cornyn.
What's wrong with Colin Allred?
Well, I don't think I should start a political campaign by saying something nice about my opponent, but I respect Colin Allred greatly. I campaigned vigorously for him in the last election and was disappointed that he didn't prevail in that race. I'm not running against Colin Allred. If he's the nominee, he will make a fine U.S. Senator and infinitely better than Ken Paxton or John Cornyn. But I do think that I bring a particular set of experiences and skills. I bring a certain set of values, and I think I bring a vision for not only my party, but more importantly, the state and the country that meets the moment that we're in right now. And so I want the opportunity to make that case to the people of Texas over the next few months. And I hope this primary is beneficial both for me and Congressman Allred.
You described this candidacy, Representative Talarico, as a leap of faith. Is part of that faith that at the end of their primary, Republicans will be divided and demoralized with the outcome?
Well, I certainly would be demoralized if my nominee was Ken Paxton or John Cornyn, because, again, both men embody this corrupt political system. But I look forward to prosecuting the case against either of them, regardless of who makes it out of that primary. And again, I hope that this campaign can be about bigger things than just individual people. I hope it can be about how this system incentivizes the kind of corruption we've seen from Ken Paxton and John Cornyn, because ultimately we're all trapped in this failed system, and it's going to take all of us coming together to transform it.
State Representative Democrat James Talarico, I appreciate the time, sir. Good luck on the campaign trail.
Thanks for having me.